Greetings one and all, this is Lloyd Brown. Welcome to my vlog. Well, not necessarily. It is a video log, but it's not a vlog as part of any forthcoming series. This is a video log, if you like, a video that I felt that I had to do. And you will understand or even overstand the reason why I made this video. Now, I'm going to say from the get-go that I don't really care if you disagree, and I appreciate the fact that you might agree or have some overstanding as to what I'm about to say, okay? But I feel that I need to put my spin on it, okay? With that out the way, let's begin. Now, must have been around a couple of years ago or a year ago, I can't remember when exactly, but I got involved in a project which was more or less spearheaded by the great bubblers, Carlton Bubblers Ogilvy, into giving like a public information video for people to utilize e-commerce in terms of buying music, in terms of purchasing music, in terms of downloads and things like that. So I done the voiceover and I done the video, and that was basically that. So we were all good. But fast forward up to last week, and I was tagged in something. So I went to look on the tag, because usually I have to approve the tag in order for it to go on my timeline, because I just don't want anything going on my timeline when I'm not around, okay? But still people find their way around that. But from an official perspective, I have to basically vet any tags that I get. So I saw a tag, and I was tagged with like around 47 other people, and it was for a slogan, and the slogan basically stated, support independent artists. If you like it, buy it. That was the slogan. I read it once, I read it twice, I read it 3 times, I read it 4 times. After I read it the 4 times, I untagged myself. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, put yourself in this situation. You're going shopping, right? You're doing your weekly shop or your monthly shop, depending on how large or how much food your family goes through in a particular period. And you go to Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Asda or your store of choice. You're going to go to the store making sure that A, you have your cash, you have your credit card, you have your debit card, and if you're even more thrifty, you're going to make sure you have those bagged for life, so you don't get charged for the bags that they bag up your goods with at the checkout, okay? Now, move it down a division, and you go to a Tesco's local, a convenience store that's still owned by the major brands, right? You're still going to make sure that all of the aforementioned are in place, okay? Let's go down another division. When you go to a corner store that is owned by a family that has been running for like 50 years, right? That has seen the customer base grow and grow from parent to son to grandson to great grandkids, right? And they're all using your store. You develop a relationship, right, with your customer base, or the shopkeeper develops a relationship with the customer base, and vice versa. So there will come a time when at any given point, the customer base might be short of a couple of pence or 10 pence or 20 pence or 50 pence or £1, and will ask the shopkeeper, can I give you the 50 pence when I come back the next time? And the shopkeeper says yes, on the basis that he knows that you're going to come back to shop at his store because you are supporting his enterprise. So that goes without saying, okay? Move that out the way, that scenario out the way. Then you're going to have a customer base that's going to go inside that same person's store and continually ask for credit. continually ask for credit because they don't have no money. Now it's in the shopkeeper's discretion whether to give that credit or not. Okay? Let's move that scenario out the way. Then you're going to have a customer base that will go inside his store to steal anything they can steal from his store and not pay for nothing. Okay? Let's move that out the way. Okay. Now, the one underlying thing that each of those groups of customer bases already knows before they walk in the store is that when they walk in through those doors in that person's convenience store, the corner shop as it were, they all know that they have to pay for the goods. The goods didn't just drop out of the sky. You know what I mean? They didn't grow from some magic beans. They all were paid for from cash and carry, and he's basically selling them so he can basically make money to buy more and to buy more and to buy more and expand his products. That's how it works in a corner store. You try and steal stuff from Tesco's, they got the cameras on your case, right? You come out of Tesco's, you're getting nicked, right? Police can be drawn into the whole situation, depending on your age and circumstance. So, I don't expect to go into a store of any kind and have the shopkeeper say to me, whatever you want, if you like it, buy it. Because I should already know that. I should already know that as someone who has a concept of what money is. I should know that. There's a clear difference when you're trying to edify people into e-commerce and when you're just flat out telling somebody, well, if you like something, buy it. That's the reason why I untagged myself, because I thought that very slogan, to some degree, was very insulting. I found it insulting. That's why I untagged myself. Now, the question that I need to ask with that slogan in place is, who are you aiming that slogan towards? Because it's very ambiguous from what I've seen. But I would tell you at the end of the day that there are two groups of people. Who that slogan is more or less aimed to. Now, I understand the sentiment, and I overstand the sincerity, as it were, in that statement. But there's only two groups of people. One is people that just naturally think that music is just made for free. It's made for free and it's presented for free, right? And then you have the DJs, some DJs, who feel say they don't have to pay for anything. They don't have to pay for anything because what they're doing, they're giving you the promotion. So by you giving them the whole album is a good trade-off. Well, here's the thing. Back in the 60s, 70s and 80s, you used to have people called pluggers that would basically take a single and go to different radio stations to plug the single. And if the DJ liked it, they would basically play it. They wouldn't come with an album, they would come with a single. And then the DJ would basically play the single. Now, by today's standards, it's just a simple case of a DJ buying one track for 75 pence. Because a lot of DJs who wants to push themselves up and be the celebrity and be the personality, right? For some of them, it's working. And it's working by them doing residency gigs and getting paid for that. Now, you wouldn't, as a DJ who's getting that work, you wouldn't want me to basically stand up round by the DJ box and say to you, give me 75 pence now, Give me 75 pence now, and you're asking me why you want that. Well, because you played one of my tunes, right? You played one of my tunes that, that I didn't give you. You didn't pay for. So can I have 75 pence, please? Because you're playing my product. That sounds stupid, right? Of course it does. So I'm just trying to basically just cut out all of that and say, okay, I've got an album out on road, right? Buy a track. No, I'll give you one track. And if you like the track and you want to investigate the album, then buy the album or buy as many tracks or as few tracks as you want. You don't have to buy every single track that makes up the album to constitute an album sale. It don't work like that anymore. All you have to do, 10 people can buy a copy of Sharing the Night each, and that will constitute an album sale, right? That way, you're supporting the artist. But what some DJs are guilty of, and it's to a point where I know who the DJs are. I know who they are, right? When I release my albums, I would take my albums to probably 4 DJs in the world and have them play as an exclusive. 2 in this country and probably another 2 in the States. And they will have the exclusivity of playing my album before any other DJ does. And what do the other DJs do? Yeah, big your cut off for that. Big your cut off for that, Bridget. Big your cut off for that. So, when you're sending out a message supporting independent artists, if you like it, buy it. We need to cut out the ambiguity, because it's people that think that music is out there for free, and some DJs fall under that category. But there are naturally some youths that feel, music is free, but we have to edify them and educate them. Even if we get them onto Spotify and have them stream the music through Spotify, that's 3/4 of the job done. That's 3/4 of the job done, because they're basically renting the music. And depending on which artist they like, if they stream it like 100 times, it's a sale. Do you know what I'm saying? We are living in the 21st century. It is 2017, right? We have to edify people to that regard, more than just tell somebody, if you like it, buy it. You don't have to be telling people that. People know what the concept of money is. When you go and get your hair done at the hairdressing salon, when you get your nails done, when you go to the shop and buy a new outfit, when you buy your suit, DJs, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna go, the shopkeeper ain't gonna say to you, yeah, if you like it, buy it. That's insulting you as a consumer. So why am I gonna be trying to insult consumers by giving them that message at the end of the day? Another thing, supporting independent art is not just about consumers and the artist. It's about the artist, the producers, with fellow artists and the producers, and basically strengthening the team. Because like I said, we don't have an industry. We just have a collective of people doing their individual things at the end of the day. And that's all well and good. But you see where the support really needs to take place and ignite? The support needs to burn out the bad mind. It needs to burn out the bad mind. That's where it needs to start first, right? Because if some people in the industry has been in the industry for like 30, 40 years, right? And they've not released an album yet, or they've just released one album, and they've been in the business 30, 40, nearly 50 years, there is something seriously wrong with that picture. See, I've been in the business 35 years, and I've recorded 20 studio albums. So I'm pretty much on point. But the only reason why I've made so many albums was because my first album Straight No Chaser that I recorded with the administrators took so long to record and release, right, that I vowed I will never take that long to make an album ever again. Even when I transitioned to Jetstar and I made Deep, right, it still took long to come out because while I was signed to Jetstar, you had people like Glenn Washington and Beanie Man and Luciano coming through the studio, and when all they had to do was more or less snap their fingers and basically record, say they want to record something, and I, as a signed artist, would get pushed to the back. And I'm signed to them. I'm signed to the company, and I'm getting pushed back because these artists have now walked in through the door, you know? So everybody's basically just standing on ceremony while I'm in the back, waiting for them guys to finish. That's how it was for me. It was the same with Jetstar. Not Jetstar, sorry, Groove and a Quarter. They had Beverly Knight, Aswad, Desiree popping through their studios, and I was put in the back burner. And I said, you know what, that ain't happening to me no more. And I didn't think it would happen to me in Jetstar, but it happened to me. Then I decided to basically just make and release my own albums, be in control of my own things. But even by doing that, and even minding my own business to a point, the bad minds start coming. And it's coming from artists. It's coming from producers. It's coming from promoters. It's coming from everyone that's supposed to basically help the thing and carry it forward and push it up a heights. You know what I mean? When I go abroad and I speak for the industry, it comes back to me where, yeah, right, message, yeah, but him not for talk for me. Him can't talk for me because him the America and him there this and him I do this and him I do that. Then what am I supposed to do? There's other artists that will go out there and not even give mention to no UK artists. But you still pucker up and kiss their ass. And I'll burn a fire on that. But burn a fire for that. You know what I mean? You have artists that do exactly the opposite. Don't even talk about no UK artists. Don't even about what's coming from the UK in no way, shape or form. But when them artists come forward to England, you're kissing their ass. I don't see it. I've seen it happen. You get what I'm saying? So the support for the independent artists has got to come from different ways. It's got to come from different ways. It's not just about the consumer and the artist. It's not as clear cut as that. You know what I mean? It's the mindset that has to basically change. You know what I mean? You know, if I see an artist and I rate the artist and it's like, okay, they got an album out. Yeah. If they want to give me the album, yeah, they'll give me the album. You know, I mean, I'll refuse it, but if I can buy the album, I can buy the album. You know what I'm saying? You know, and another thing as well is that artists need to take care of their product. They need to take care of their product. They need to take care of their product. Some people are just so zealous, for want of a better word, in showing people what they're doing. You know, they would put a pre-release tune up on YouTube before the tune's even released, forgetting the fact that DJs can actually rip the tune from YouTube as an MP3 and play it. Even the quality, the format of the music is so compromised where DJ is that if a DJ says to me, Lloyd, you know, can you send me a tune? I said, yeah, I'll send you as a WAV file. They said, no. Send it as an MP3. Send it as an MP3. And I'm thinking, why would you want it as an MP3? It's compressed 10 times. You know what I mean? It's like me taking this thing, crushing it up like that, and asking you to read it. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense, right? So, sorry, I gotta open it back up because my notes are there. Oh, God. Yeah, but no, that was more or less the last point. You gotta look, you gotta look after your product as well, in order for the support to basically be there. You know, don't ask people to buy stuff when you're putting stuff on YouTube. You're putting a full track on YouTube, a full pre-release track on YouTube. and then you're going to complain that, you know, people stealing your stuff. Do you know what I mean? You know, here are the facts. You ain't going to get rid of piracy. You're not going to get rid of it. Sorry about that. You're not going to get rid of piracy. All you can do is stem the flow. That's all you can do, stem the flow. And all you can do is just try and edify people as to how to buy music, how to purchase music in a way that it supports the industry, right? Let them know there are different ways of doing it. You don't have to just buy a download. You can basically stream music if you want, and that will help the artists as long as their business is in place in terms of who they're signed to, you know, who are their publishers, is their publishing up to speed, up to scratch, up to standard, you know, it all depends on that as well. So, you know, the support can be there for an artist, but if the artist business practice leaves a lot to be desired, then, you know, you can't blame nobody. You can only basically blame yourself. So that's why I untagged myself from that slogan, because that slogan is, I don't know who you're aiming that towards, and for the common man to basically read that, I take it as an insult. Like I don't know what money is, and like I don't know what money is used for. Do you know what I mean? But then again, I might not know what Spotify is or iTunes. I don't know what iTunes is, and I need more help with that. I'm willing to buy music, but because all of the mum and pops record stores are closing down on the street side, I don't know where to buy my music anymore. And if I don't know where to buy my music and I'm going on the net to try and find out, and then the first thing that pops up, oh, you can get Peter Honeygale's album for free, you can get Don Campbell's album for free, you can get Lloyd Brown albums for free. Because when I go on YouTube and I go on Google and I basically click my name, it says Lloyd Brown 2016, Lloyd Brown albums, Lloyd Brown free albums. So that basically means that a lot of people has been searching for free albums. I'm not stupid, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say. I was trying to temper myself, but that is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why I untagged myself from that slogan. So if you feel a way about that, if anybody feels a way about that, I can't help or not. I'm just doing what I'm doing because of the mistakes that I've made. Not so much that I've made, but of the ill consideration that was paid towards me. So when you see me with a bag of albums to my credit, there's a reason as to why. I'm not doing it to be in no competition with nobody. I don't need to compete with anyone in this business, in this industry. But you don't have to bad mind me either. You know what I mean? You don't have to steal from me either, or any other artist, right? And supporting independent artists, you can basically do a good job of that by the independent artists themselves edifying people as to how best to support the artist, not just to say, buy my things. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all for me for now. And as always, you don't know the coup. Abstain from foolishness wherever possible. And until the next time I catch Uno on this video, on this screen, stay blessed. Magan.